Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas. Coming up in part 2, we have a look at the InvestChem Formula Ford Kent class, a category which has grown in popularity over the past few seasons. Donnie Lamola recalls an incident from the last race.
So the second race, I got involved with Matthew's brother on the 10-4. He spun in front of me, and I tried to squeeze out, and then he just hit my back wheel, and I was out.
This weekend's extremely competitive. We didn't get the pole, Matthijs got that. He's a couple of tenths quicker than me. Graham Hepburn second, myself in third. So we're all separated by 2 tenths of a second. I think it's going to be an exciting race.
No surprises at the front of the grid as Midas History takes pole position in his Sage Suzuki Ford Talon. Graham Hepburn is second in his Suburban Body Shop Ford Ray. Ian Schofield third in his InvestChem Ford Miguel. And the Turncab Engineering Ford Ray of Dean Fenter lines up fourth. A standing start for the Formula Fords. The lights go out and they're off. Into turn 1, it's Graham Hepburn who gets the jump on Midas History. Dean Fenter in the number 77 didn't get a great start, and he's passed by Ben van der Westhuizen. Andreas Petru and Paul Gerber run 3 abreast with Fenter into the hairpin. Gerber and Fenter touch, and Fenter runs wide, and that loses him even more positions. Into turn 3, and the leaders are really pushing hard. Midas History was not going to let Graham Hepburn get away, and Schofield is right on his tail. Up the hill the train goes. Schofield makes his move down the inside of Stradom and successfully goes past. Great timing. Further down the field, Jeff Gable and Jonathan Nash are wheel to wheel as they go round turn 5. The Von Diemen of Gable edges out the Swift of Nash. Dean Fenter and Paul Gerber are side by side going into turn 1. Jeff Gable is right behind them though, not wanting to miss out on any of the action. Gable tries to split the pair as they head towards the hairpin. Gerber pulls ahead and Gable fills the spot next to Fenter. At the front of the field, the InvestChem Miguel of Ian Schofield has managed to pass Midas History and is hunting down Graham Hepburn for the lead. There's nothing in it between the top 2 as they form a train through turn 6. The Ray of Sean Hepburn leads a gaggle of cars through turn 5. Jonathan Nash loses the back and runs wide, almost allowing Steve Crook and his Van Diemen through. Back with the leaders, and Graham Hepburn in the number 4 Ford Ray locks up under braking as Ian Schofield applies the pressure. Schofield capitalizes on this error and seizes his chance to pass Hepburn on the inside. Fantastic racing. Ian's son Andrew Schofield leads a train of 5 cars as they go through turn 8. Sean Hepburn, Graham's cousin, in the 41 Ray 40 follows him through. Side by side go Paul Gerber and Jonathan Nash onto turn 1. Gerber edges out an advantage. Meanwhile, in a mirror of the leaders, it's Schofield ahead of Hepburn exiting the hairpin. Coming into the final turn, it's Ian Schofield who takes the checkered flag in the InvestChem Ford Miguel. What a great battle the top 3 have provided, with all 3 of them waving in celebration. A quick look at the results then, and the top 3 were separated by just over a second, with Midas History just 3 tenths behind Graham Hepburn. Due to a jump start, Hepburn was given a 30-second penalty and drops to 10th, promoting Stradom up to 2nd.
I started second, Ian behind me. I got away cleanly, so I got into the lead and I held them off for 8 laps, but they were hounding me everywhere. Eventually they pushed me into a mistake down at the hairpin and Ian got past, and then I had to look after my second place.
It was hard work, very hard work. I didn't expect to get past him after 8 laps, I must admit. Great racing, that's just the way it should be.
The InvestChem Formula Fords assemble on the grid for the standing start that will see the beginning of Heat 2. The lights go out and they're off. Ben van der Westhuizen gets a great start from third on the grid and leads the field into turn 1. Pole sitter Ian Schofield is determined not to let him go through though, and makes his move down the inside of turn 2. Van der Westhuizen keeps the lead through turn 2, and the Ford Miguel and Ford Talon battle it out side by side heading into 3. Up the hill they go, with battles developing all the way through the field. Andreas Petru leads Graham Hepburn into turn 5. In the background, Paul Gerber in Pablo Clark Racing Ray gets all tied up and spins around and back onto the track, kicking up a huge amount of dust. Luckily, no one makes contact with him as they pick their way around the stationary Ford Ray. Nose to tail, the leaders make their way round turn 1. Heading into 2, the Invescam Miguel makes its move down the inside, and Ian Schofield has taken the lead from Ben van der Westhuizen in the Delta Rubber Royale. The green Talon of Straydom decides to make his move as they exit turn 3, and he goes side by side with van der Westhuizen. He doesn't quite have enough yet and drops back. Ben van der Westhuizen, meanwhile, has a look down the inside of Schofield. Up to the tabletop, and Graham Hepburn has his nose right up the gearbox of Ben van der Westhuizen. As they round the turn, slight contact between Straydom and Hepburn as they head towards 6. Coming up the hill, and Andreas Petru and Dean Venter on nose to tail. Venter's looking very frustrated in his Ford Ray as he waves his hand in the air at Petru. Right behind Venter is the Van Diemen of Jeff Gable, so Venter has to let his frustrations go and focus on keeping his position safe. Heading for turn 8, and Matt Nash is all over Jeff Gable, but Gable holds firm and makes another move on Venter, with no results though. The battle for second place rages on as Graham Hepburn makes his move down the inside of Ben van der Westhuizen. He makes it stick, and Matthijs Straydom is now putting the pressure on van der Westhuizen, who runs wide into turn 6 and gives up yet another position as Matthijs Straydom powers past. Oh no, it looks like the leader Ian Schofield has problems.
Got into the lead, was pulling away, got things under control, and the throttle cable snapped. So no throttle cable, no go.
This brings out the safety car, which will bunch the field up, and it should make for an interesting finish. On the restart, the 99 Van Diemen of Jeff Gable gets the jump on the number 10 Reynard of Andreas Petru. In the lead, though, it is Graham Hepburn, closely followed by Matthijs Straydom, as they round the final bend to take the checkered flag. Great racing from the Investcam Formula Fords. Graham Hepburn narrowly edging out Matthijs Straydom in the end by 5/100ths of a second. Confirmation of the results then, Ben van der Westhuizen went on to finish a fantastic third. Petru, Venter and Gable separated by just 7/10ths of a second. Fantastic racing in 4th, 5th and 6th.
Bit disappointing. I jump-started the first race. I got a 30-second penalty, so I had to start 10th in the second race, and I managed to work my way through. Unfortunately, Ian had a mishap with the car, so he pulled off to the side, and that caused the safety car. But in the end, I managed to hold off Matthijs, and I got the win.
It was a good day for us, I suppose. Starting on pole, getting 2 second places, so not a bad day at all.
Next up, we have the Consolidated Auctioneers Pre-84 Sports and GT, and the Trans-Africa Racing Pre-77 ISP, and the Trans Am class, with some fantastic cars out on the track. What's the appeal of racing in the historic tour for Fred Koenig?
There are no major prizes or glory to be won here. It's basically enthusiasts just having some fun with the machinery they enjoy driving. This is my 3rd race I've ever done in it. I used to race marked cars. I was very fortunate to win a championship there in my first year as well. So after I achieved that, I had to get something a little bit quicker, and that's sort of what I've got now.
Feel good, car's very well, everything feels fine, so let's see what happens.
Pole position goes to Colin Ellison in his newly acquired Chevron B19. Second and third go to the Scribante cousins, who are separated by a mere 4/100ths of a second, and Dino set the new fastest time around Zwartkops for a Porsche RSR. The lights go out and the action begins. Colin Ellison gets a great start, but it's Franco Scribante who comes through from third to take second position heading into turn 1. Jonathan Dutoy in his Trans-Africa Racing Chevron B8 is putting the pressure on Dino Scribante's white and orange Porsche RSR, which is in third position. Colin Clay in his Genie Racing Lola T70 holds on to 5th spot, but looks to be hunting down Dutoy in his Chevron. Problems here for Oliver Delay as he retires his Marlboro Crane Hire 1966 Ford GT40. Up the hill they go, and Colin Clay has just found a way past Dino Scribante's Porsche 911 RSR. Into turn 6 they go, and Scribante has a look down the inside. But it's not enough, and the Genie Racing Lola holds firm in third. Oh my goodness, a spin for Franco at turn 3, brought about by contact with the Lola out wide, and this has brought a lot of debris onto the track. Everyone seems to pick their way through the dust okay, and Franco rejoins the race in 6th place, just ahead of Andre van der Merwe's Porsche 911 RSR. Quibus Brits in the BP Porsche is having a great dice with Peter Schoolman in his 68 Ford Escort as they exit turn 2. Quibus's car originally belonged to his father, but when he passed away in 2002, Quibus bought the car off his mother and has since been developing it to go racing, which he has been doing for the past 2 years. Leader Colin Ellison in his Lucky Strike Chevron B19 makes short work of passing the pair. Peter Schoolman then seizes his opportunity and passes Brits as well. Franco Scribante making his way back through the field, passes the 1970 Porsche 917 of Colin Frost on the inside of turn 8. Scribante accelerates down the hill, anxious to make up those lost positions. A two-way battle now between Mark Shepard and Fritz Kleinhans, with Ben Morgenrud coming up to lap the pair. Kleinhans runs out of space on the inside of Goldwagen corner and goes farming briefly before returning to the track. Franco Scribante wastes no time passing Kleinhans, and Ben Morgenrud in the Mustang follows his line through turn 1 and past Shepard. Scribante now moves up into 3rd place with Morgenrud in 4th. Mike Maurice and Herman Klicher cross the line, but it's Colin Ellison who takes the checkered flag and victory in Heat 1. So Dino Scribante came home in a lonely 2nd place, but won Class C in the ISP category, with Colin Frost winning the ISP Class B. George Avakomides took Class C honours, Effort Buerter won Class D, and Quibus Brits Class E.
We're having a great race. I battled with this car the whole weekend, and I think this morning we sorted it out, and it really was going well. Come on the inside of Franco Scribante on the inside there on turn 3, just squeezed me over. I had 2 wheels on the dirt, nowhere to go, and destroyed the rim and the tyre and bent the steering rack. So I think that's us out for the day.
It was a good first third of the race, because my main prerogative was to get in front of Dino, because he's in front of me on the grid. And I got a great start, and he didn't seem to get a great start, so I got into the first corner before him. It was going well, and I think I was actually pulling on him, because he's my main competition in this particular race. And then coming through turn 3, I got hit by the Lola. I took my normal line, and obviously he was quicker than me, being a proper sports car. And that was it. I just felt a bang and it was over.
Towards the middle of the race, we had a hairy incident where Franco Scribante lost it, I think, at turn 4. Just before turn 4, and we had to scatter around him. But he was so incredibly quick, he then came back on and he beat us. But Andre and I had a good dice. He's a very good driver. I'll try for the next race.
The car felt good, car felt strong, you know, from the get-go, and we had a lot of grip on the track. The track was very slippery this morning, and so I was running comfortably and managing to keep George behind me, but we had the incident, as he mentioned, with the spun, and a bit hairy for me because I got on the grass and had to avoid hitting Franco, and luckily missed him, but then I lost a bit of time and George closed up on me, but I managed to hold him with 4 laps to go, so I'm happy with the result, yeah.
Race 2 gets underway and Dino Scribante has a great start, but it's Colin Ellison who leads the field into turn 1. Whoa, we have a spinner, and it's Ben Morgan-Ruud who turns it around in turn 1, forcing Jonathan du Toit in his little Chevron B8 to take evasive action and go deep into the kitty litter. This does not end well for du Toit as he picked up a puncher from his excursion and was forced into an early retirement. Morgan-Ruud, however, is firmly trapped in the gravel. This brings out the safety car and a truck to tow him out. Back on the black stuff, and Morgan-Ruud in his 65 Ford Mustang will make his way round to the back of the field and continue racing. The green flag drops and we're under racing conditions again. Colin Ellison powers away at the front in his 71 Chevron B19, while the Scribante Labour Consultant 73 Porsche 911 RSR of Dino Scribante is being hunted down by Colin Clay in his Genie Racing Lola. Clay is not letting go of Scribante, and heading up the hill, he makes his move. The Lola flashes by Scribante on the right and moves into second place. Further down the field, Ben Morgan-Ruud is fighting his way back up the order after his first lap in discretion as he passes Mark Shepard here on their way round Goldwagen. George Avakomides in the Ocean Basket Porsche, side by side with Herman Klucher in his 73 Porsche RSR as they exit Castrol Corner and head up the hill. Into turn 5 and Klucher has the inside line. Avakomides edges ahead through into turn 6. The Ocean Basket Porsche has the narrowest of leads, uses it to his advantage as he powers down on the exit and seals his position. Colin Ellison, making his way through the back markers, comes round the final bend to take the checkered flag and a double victory for the day. Colin Clay in the stunning Genie Racing Lola T70 takes second overall and first in ISP Class A. Confirmation of the results then, Dino Scribante won ISP Class C but will be moved up to Class A for the next meeting. Colin Frost won ISP Class B. Peter Jenkins won Class C in the Sports and GTs and will be moving up to Class B next time out.
The race started, as you know, I think it was Ben Morgan-Ruud that lost it in turn 1, and that gave me the advantage. I just managed to miss Andre van der Merwe, and I got into behind all the wing cars and left the rest trailing behind, and then all of a sudden there was a safety car. Everybody caught up. Andre managed to get past me up at the hill, and then Herman came charging. He's a brilliant driver. I battled to keep him behind me, and regretfully I lost it in turn 8, and he managed to put me to the line. But the car was good, we had great fun.
In the last corner, I just managed to sneak in through the inside, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, 2 wins in the Chevron, wonderful. Great old car, nice competition, bit of a battle with the Porsches and then the Lola at the end, but good to finish again, yeah.
I was 4th on the grid, I shouldn't have been there, right up amongst the sports cars. In turn 1, one of the sports cars touched me on the side and I turned around and they had to come and dig me out of the gravel. So I was behind the field and I had to do some catching up, but it was fun.
Question: which 2 South African drivers won the Formula 1 Championship 6 times each? Answer after the break.
Join us after the break for more fantastic action from the Midas Historic Tour.